back to Research Minds. In this tutorial, we will look at how you can combine two Boolean operators. One is OR, O-R, and the other one is AND, A-N-D. How you can combine these two Boolean operators to look for articles when you are doing a literature search in PubMed. So let's go over now and see how that's done. We are going to use the Boolean operator OR and the Boolean operator AND. We'll use these two Boolean operators to do a literature search in PubMed to demonstrate how you can use these two to look for articles and papers when you are doing a literature search. Let's go over now to PubMed and use these two. I will use this publication. This is a systemic review that I did with Dr. Shailon Taufa, and we recently got it published in this European journal. I will use this article as an example to show how you can use Boolean operators to do a literature search. So I'll go down to the search strategies, and this is the search strategy that we used, and the study was looking for the cardiovascular effects of betel nut chewing. So we use keywords like betel nut and betel quid and areca nut to look for papers that were in line with our research question to do the systemic literature review. So for this tutorial, we will use this example to show how you can use the Boolean operators AND and the Boolean operator OR to do a simple literature search. So what I will do is I will just copy this and I'll paste to a Word document for us to use. All right, so I'm just gonna increase the font to maybe 14. Okay, size 14. So this is the search strategy that we will use in PubMed to demonstrate how to use the Boolean operator OR and the Boolean operator AND to do a simple literature search. Let's go now over to PubMed and I will show you how you can do it. Okay, we are now on the PubMed home page. Once you are in this page, go straight to the advanced search functionality, and in the query box, go straight to title and abstract. So you want to look for all the keywords in the title and abstract. For the example that we are going to use, we will use the study on the cardiovascular effects of betel nut. So I am going to pull out the search. So I'll just park this on the side. Let me just make like so. Okay, so let's begin the search and see how we can do this. Okay, so first keyword is betel nut. Betel nut, and I close the keyword with the modifier quotation marks, and I add, and the next keyword is betel quid, because some papers will have this term betel quid. I close it again with quotation marks, and I use the Boolean operator OR because I want to look for keywords betel nut or betel quid in the title and abstract. And the next keyword is areca nut. So areca nut. So these are all words that words or terms that all refer to betel nut. So depending on the authors, they will use a different terminology. So because of that, then they are kind of synonymous with each other. So therefore, I'm using the Boolean operator OR, and then I add to search. Okay, it gives me 2000 hits. Okay, next keyword is hypertension or blood pressure. So hypertension, I had and I use the Boolean operator or high blood pressure. So or high blood pressure. So I want to look for these two keywords, hypertension or high blood pressure, in the title and abstract. Then add to history. And then it has picked up almost 500,000 papers. Okay. Still continuing on. And in step number 4, I'm looking for all the papers that has the keywords coronary artery disease. So I'll say coronary artery disease, and I'm using the modifier asterisk so that it will include either the root word disease or diseases, and for that you can use the modifier asterisk. I add that to the query box and I add to history, so it gives 100,000 hits. Next keyword that I want to use is ischemic heart disease. Ischemic, US spelling, ICHE, heart disease, and I put the asterisk so that it will include diseases, and I close it with modifier quotation marks, and I add that to history, and I keep going to the next keyword is ischemic heart disease with a British spelling, ICHAEMI. So ischemic heart disease with, and again, once again, close it with quotation marks. I add that to query box and I search, and it gives me 10,000 hits. And the next keyword that I used for my research paper was atherosclerosis. So ATHEROSCLEROSIS. I add that to query box and I, once again, and I'm still, and as you may notice, I am adding them to history so that I will use this later on and combine them by using the Boolean operator AND. So I have not yet dealt with these results. I am adding them onto the history, and I'm continuing on with my search. And the last keyword here is arrhythmia. ARRHYTHMIA, and I'm also putting the asterisk mark there, the modifier, so that it will capture the word arrhythmia as the plural. I add that to title and abstract, and I hit add to history, and it has given me 100,000 plus papers. Okay, now that I have all these papers, all these hits, and all of them in all the sets, I have used the Boolean operator OR. So in the first step, I'm using the Boolean operator OR with the different keywords individually to widen my sets, to make the sets very, very wide. And later I will refine and narrow the sets down using the Boolean operator AND. So that's the next step. So let's do that. Okay, the next step is I want to combine the results of step number 1 and step number 3. Okay, step number 1 here, I click on the 3 dots, add to query, and the Boolean logic appears here. I combine with step number 3, and I use the Boolean operator AND. So now I am combining the results of these two, and now I'm asking PubMed to pull out every paper that has the keywords in these two results together. So I'm refining the sets now. and I add to history. It gives me 61 hits. It has now narrowed it down from the combined results of these two. Next is I want to look for papers that will combine the results of step 1 and step 4. Remember, I'm looking for papers that will have betel nut plus each of the keywords that's linked to cardiovascular disease. So it's step 1 and step 2 is done. Next step will be step 1 and step 3. Step 1, I add to query, and in the step 3, and I use the boolean operator AND. It's here and still under title and abstract. Make sure it's title and abstract, and I add. Now I have 8 results. That looks great. I keep going. Just using our reference again. So we have done step 1 and step 3. We have just completed step 1 and step 4 by using the boolean operator AND. And now we want to do step number 12 by combining step 1 and step 5. Okay, step 1 and step 5 and so you may be now beginning to get the hang of what I'm doing. There's one paper. So we've done this step. Now we are going to this step 1 and combining the results of step 1 and step 6. So step 1, it's always with step 1 and the next step. So step 1 and step 6. Step 6 and I add to query, add to history, and I have 13 hits. We've completed that, and now we are about to finish at step 1 and step 7. Okay. Now we have step 1. I'm combining results step 1 and step 7, which is atherosclerosis. Giving me 13 results. Okay, I'll keep going. And finally, it's step 1 and step number 8. So step 1, and I'm using the boolean operator here, arrhythmias. And I add to query. Okay, so from here, if I could just expand that. So this, from step number 1 to step number 7 were the initial sets using the boolean operator OR, and each of these keywords were set individually. Then from step number 8 up to step number 12, I combine the results of step 1 and each of the other steps above it, so that I combine betel nut or synonyms of betel nut with the other keywords by using the boolean operator AND to narrow it down. So if I look at the results of step number 8 upwards, I have 61 hits, 81. This has a single hit, then 13 and 9. So this number of papers is manageable compared to hundreds and thousands of papers. So I have done a big wide search and then narrow it down using the boolean operator AND to reach a manageable size of papers. I can either from here download the list of all the articles that have been found, or I can individually go click on the number of results and then come to this page of the PubMed and email all the results. So all the results to my email, and then go back and look through the papers individually one by one by scanning the abstract and using your inclusion or exclusion criteria of your literature search to look for papers that you want to include in your literature review. So that's what we've done. And you can go back and do the same for each of the results until all the results are in your email. Then when you have time, you can go back and individually review the abstract and select articles. And you now have a list of papers that are very narrow and refined after you've done a big wide search, and now you've narrowed it down to a size that is manageable and focused, that's aligned with your literature review questions when you are doing your literature review. So this tutorial is a simple step, and it involves multiple steps. It takes a lot of practice in doing and trial and using your keywords initially to do some pilot search and then refining your keywords until you know your keywords are getting the right articles. Then you can write all your search strategy down on a paper or on Word and then start using the boolean operator or to do a wide search, and then narrow it down using the boolean operator and to reach a sizable number of articles that you can look through. That's it for this tutorial. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so that this channel can continue to grow and reach more students. Until next time.